On October 15th, 2011, in Spanish Fort Canyon, three teenage girls set to hang out, take photos, and enjoy themselves. What they didn't realize was that one of the photos would be the last one ever taken of them. This is the last photo ever taken of 16-year-old Kelsey Webster, her 15-year-old sister Savannah, and their friend 15-year-old Essa Rica. The photo shows the three girls smiling and laughing while posing on the train tracks. Kelsey and Savannah Webster were sisters, close in age and even closer in their bond. Both attended schools in Utah and were known to be kind-hearted, social, and deeply loved by their family and friends. Kelsey, the older sister, was protective and fun-loving, while Savannah, the younger sister, was full of energy and admired Kelsey as the older sibling. Their friend, Essa Rica, was also just 15. She was known for her bright spirit and sense of humor. Essa and Kelsey were particularly close. They shared classes, friends, and that afternoon, they shared what would be unknowingly their last moments together. It was a Saturday afternoon when the three girls headed out to Spanish Fort Canyon. They had no intention of doing anything dangerous. Like many teens, they were drawn to the attention of the railroad track. They thought it was cool and an aesthetic place for photos. The girls climbed into the train tracks and took a picture. But what they didn't see or hear in time was a train rapidly approaching behind them. A Union Pacific train was headed east through the canyon at full speed. The crew saw the girls too late. The horn was sounded, emergency brakes applied, but the momentum was simply too much. Kelsey and Essa were killed instantly. As for Savannah, she was critically injured and transported to the hospital. She survived for 3 more days before succumbing to her injuries. The tragedy sent shockwaves through the small Utah community. Families were shattered, classmates mourned the loss of 3 young lives, but the grief extended beyond friends and relatives. The train crew, those who witnessed the final moments, were left deeply scarred. In these situations, conductors often only have seconds to respond, and sometimes, no matter how fast they act, it's simply not enough. Union Pacific later confirmed that trauma counseling was provided to the crew. Quote, "It's a quiet reality of these incidents. Survivors on both sides carry wounds that can't be seen." Another crew member commented, "We saw them, we blew the horn, we hit the brakes, but there was nothing we could do. In those final seconds, we could only hope." On August 2015, in Alabama, 18-year-old Jolie Callan set out to what was meant to be a peaceful hike. She was accompanied by her ex-boyfriend, Lauren Bunner. What started as a simple outing between 2 young people hoping to find closure would soon spiral into a horrifying and tragic accident, one that shocked the community and captured national attention. Jolie Callan was known to those around her as bright, vivacious young woman full of life. Petite in stature but strong in spirit, she had just graduated from high school and was preparing to start college, excited for the next chapter in her life. Yet beneath the surface of her promising future lay the shadow of a troubled past. Jolie had recently ended her relationship with Lauren Bunner. Their relationship had been marked by Lauren's possessiveness and controlling behavior, red flags that Jolie had grown increasingly uncomfortable with. Despite this, when Lauren asked for one final hike together, Jolie agreed, hoping they could part on amicable terms and find closure. As they made their way along the rugged trail, Lauren captured moments of the day in photos, posting several of them on his Instagram account with captions like, "Just enjoying the view." The images depict a seemingly normal day, one friend even admiring the beauty of the nature. But behind these images was a chilling reality. What Jolie did not know was that these would be her last moments alive. The peaceful hike was about to change everything. In a brutal act of violence, he pulled out a gun and shot Jolie twice, once in the back of the head and once between the eyes, pushing her lifeless body off the cliff face. In the aftermath, Lauren called the police to report what he described as a failed suicide pact. He claimed that Jolie had wanted to end her life and that she was unable to go through himself, but investigators quickly uncovered the truth behind his confession. Law enforcement and prosecutors revealed a dark portrait of Lauren Bunner, a young man unable to accept the end of the relationship, consumed by jealousy and control. Further evidence showed he had spoken boastfully of the murder to other inmates, chillingly stating, "If he couldn't have her, no one could." Lauren Bunner was charged and ultimately sentenced to 52 years in prison. The court proceedings revealed the extent of his possessiveness and tragic consequences of his actions. What should have been a fresh start for Jolie ended in a senseless loss of life. On July 16, 2011, in Port St. Lucie, Florida, Tyler Hadley threw a party at his parents' home. But beneath the laughter and music, the gathering served as a far darker purpose, a way to hide what he had already done. Tyler Hadley, a 17-year-old high school student, lived with his parents, Blake and Mary Jo Hadley. Blake worked for Florida Power and Light, and Mary Jo was an elementary school teacher. They were known to be loving parents, deeply concerned about their son's well-being. In his teenage years, Tyler began to exhibit troubling behavior. He started skipping school, engaging in drug use, and had multiple run-ins with the law. This includes charges of arson, vandalism, theft, and aggravated battery. His parents, desperate to help him, enrolled him in an outpatient drug treatment program, which proved unsuccessful. They were in the process of admitting him to an inpatient facility, a decision that would later be identified as a potential motive for the ensuing tragedy. On the afternoon of July 16, Tyler posted a cryptic message on Facebook: "Party at my crib tonight, maybe." As his parents returned home, Tyler hid their cell phones and locked the family dog in a closet, fearing it might interfere with his plans. Around 5 p.m., after consuming 3 ecstasy pills, Tyler approached his mother from behind as she worked on a computer and struck her with a 22-inch framing hammer. Hearing the commotion, his father rushed in, only to be met with the same fate. Tyler then dragged their bodies into the master bedroom, covering them with towels, books, and a coffee table, then spent the next 3 hours cleaning up the scene. Despite the gruesome events, Tyler proceeded with his plan. He withdrew money from his deceased parents' accounts to purchase alcohol and drugs. By 8:15, he posted another message: "Party at my house. Hit me up." That night, approximately 60 teenagers gathered at the Hadley residence, oblivious to the horror concealed behind the master bedroom door. Some guests noticed a foul odor, but dismissed it against the party. During the party, Tyler confided with his best friend Michael, revealing that he had killed his parents. Initially skeptical, Michael was shown a bloody shoe print in the garage, and eventually the bodies themselves. In shock, Michael took this selfie with Tyler, believing it might be the last photo together. He later left the party and anonymously reported the crime to Crime Stoppers at 4:24 a.m. Police arrived at the Hadley home shortly after the trip. Tyler claimed his parents were out of town and refused entry, but officers conducted an emergency search. They discovered the house in disarray, with evidence of a party and dried blood on the walls. In the master bedrooms, they found the bodies of Blake and Mary Jo Hadley beneath a pile of household items. Tyler was arrested and charged with 2 accounts of first-degree murder. In 2014, Tyler pleaded no contest to the charges and was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole. However, in April 2016, the court overturned the sentence, citing that the original judge did not consider alternative sentencing options appropriate for juveniles. In December 2018, Tyler was resentenced to life in prison with a review mechanism in place as mandated by evolving laws regarding juvenile offenders.